Now let's begin. Continue with the same lesson. The quest for El Dorado. Children, we left till I think we have done till second last paragraph. Now I am starting from the last paragraph of this page. The next to try his luck was, now what we have studied till here, there were certain explorers were there, Europeans who went to South America to explore El Dorado, and El Dorado was a city, mythical city, and they went there in search of wealth. Now, one of the explorer, already it has been told, who was he Antonio de Barrero. He he could not complete his expedition, and then he settled there on the island of Trinidad as governor. The next to try his luck was a 42-year-old Walter Raleigh, who attempted the adventure which Barrero had failed to see through. Raleigh had sent out various expeditions but had never crossed the ocean himself. He now decided to seek this land of gold. In February 1595, he set sail from Plymouth with a fleet of 5 well-supplied vessels, taking with him about 100 gentlemen adventurers in addition to the crew members. So he took around 100 gentlemen adventurers in addition to the crew members. Raleigh's fleet was captured soon after and was quickly deprived of his cargo. What is cargo? He was deprived of his cargo means that he carried along with him, the goods, the weapons. So whatever the goods he had taken, so somebody has taken away or lost something somewhere. Something happened. About 2 months later, Raleigh sighted the hills of Trinidad. So he reached the same place, that is the island Trinidad. His eyes rested for the first time on the shores of the New World, because from 2 months they were only traveling and now they have reached the shores. So it appears to them that they have come to the New World, in which he had so long taken a keen interest, and he took a lot of interest in that island. Governor Barrero here treated Raleigh with every courtesy, talking freely about his expedition and giving Raleigh a good deal of very useful information. So over there, Raleigh, he met Governor, you already know, Antonio Barrero, and then he met that Governor Barrero, and Barrero freely told him about his expedition, gave him lot of information. Raleigh learned that his ships could not be taken up in the Orinoco. What is Orinoco? Orinoco is the name of the river, and it is one of the longest rivers in South America. So, on account of the sandbanks at its mouth, because the sea had the sandbanks, due to that he would not be able to take the ships and dangerous channels. He therefore felt it necessary to leave the ships at Trinidad. So he decided to leave his ships at Trinidad and cross the mainland in the boat. So they decided to go complete the next of the part of the expedition by boats. 100 men were chosen for the journey, while the others were left to guard the fleet. So 100 men were chosen for the journey, and others were left there so that they can look after the ships and all. An old galley, a barge, a ship's boat, and 2 wherries carried them. All these are the names of the boats, different kinds of vessels which they used to complete the remaining part of their expedition to reach the place, that is the El Dorado. Along with a young native pilot, they also took one native pilot. Native pilot means from the same place. They took a person who is familiar with the coast, who knows about the coast, who knows about the place. But stormy weather, they faced many difficulties on the way, but stormy weather hindered the voyagers. Voyagers means the people, those who travel using boats, ships. So these are voyagers. So what happened? Due to the storm, their journey got hindered, means they got lot of obstacles in between, and they were glad enough to enter one of the mouths of the river and escape the seething ocean. And when they were very happy when they entered in one of the river, because they could leave, they left the ocean. But here new trouble surrounded them. When they reached the river, they were surrounded by many problems that Raleigh described later in his account of expedition. What he wrote? He wrote about it. If God had not sent us help, so he is just thanking God. God might have sent some help for them. We might have wandered. Wandered means they kept on moving a whole year. It might have taken whole year to move, keep on moving in that labyrinth. Here labyrinth means complicated set of paths and passages through which it is difficult to find your way. Means certain type of passages are there where you get confused and you're not able to labyrinth of river means rivers are path of the river are such that you get confused where you have to go. You are not able to judge which direction of which river you have to follow. Ere we had found any way. So they were able to find the direction. How they were able to find? That's why he is saying that God had sent us help. And if we went by sun or compass, means they would have used the direction of sun, or they would use the compass direction to know the direction, hoping thereby to go directly one way or the other. Yet that way also we were carried in a circle among multitudes of islands. If they would have chosen, means if they would have used compass or the sun direction, then also there were other problems were there, like that part was surrounded by so many multitudes of islands, and due to these islands they were not able to find the directions. Every island was so bordered. Every island was so bordered with big trees, as no man could see any farther than the breadth of the river or length of the branch. That they were bordered by the tall trees, so nobody would be able to know how much large it is, that island, or what is beyond that island. The pilot proved to be useless, because the native pilot with whom they have come, it proved to be useless in this maze of waterways, because he also got confused. But they were fortunate to meet three other natives, because when they were moving, so they found three other natives who became friendly when they found they had nothing to fear from the strange white man. One of them was an old man who knew the river thoroughly. So one of the native among those three, one of them was old one, and he knew about the river means thoroughly. So presents and kind words induced him to guide the voyagers past the obstacles. So because they used the kind word, they gave them the presents, due to which they helped these voyagers. Resting that night on a little knoll on the wooded bank of the stream, they were off again early and next morning. So that day on a little knoll. What is knoll? Knoll is a small round hill. So they rested that night on a small round hill. They were off again early in the next morning. They started their journey again. The river was still swift and violent, and the banks were so crowded with trees. The banks of the river were crowded with trees and high reeds. Reeds here refers to a plant which looks like a grass and grows near water or in water, and were almost stifled from the closeness of the air. And because of these reeds, they were not able to go near the banks or to reach the island so that they can have the they can rest or something, means they can take some rest or some. Due to that, nothing could happen, they could not, means move. Rest we continue, children, in the next class.